Small landscape design ideas. We're going to talk about 10 secrets right now. We know that you're looking for it. It's a popular subject. Even in a small backyard, people want to be able to have an amazing outdoor space to be able to go hang out with their family and friends, but just have a nice little sanctuary for peace and quiet in their backyard. We're going to talk to you about those 10 secrets right now. We're going to go as fast as we can, but we're going to pack this with a lot of hidden secrets for small landscape design ideas. In fact, we're going to give you 10 secrets right now in this video. I know you're going to like it. Stay tuned, especially to the end, because I have a really cool secret that people don't realize that will really change your outdoor space, even in a small area. All right, guys, enjoy this video. Secret number one is a common design theme, and it's destination. You have to have destination in your spot, in your outdoor living space. Without destination, there's really no reason to go outside. And that's the whole point of having an outdoor living space, no matter what size of a property you have. Especially for a small space, you have to create destination, a main focal area, a spot to go. I love designing from a window or from a door, something you capture or see from inside the house, and that will pull you outside, even in a small space. So think about destination, a main focal point, as the number one thing to think about. The number two secret to designing a small backyard space is a cover. Think about a cover. It doesn't matter if you have a small backyard, you can usually sneak a backyard cover of some kind into the space. Here you see some examples of getting really creative even in a small backyard. Look at the distance there between the house and the back fence. That's a very tight space. And yet we're able to get a nice size, fully covered structure with a fireplace and TV in that space. And look at the way we bridge the gap with a pergola. Now, if you do not have the room to do a full covered space, think about a pergola. Pergolas are very flexible. Usually they avoid permits, and you can still have a very nice, fully sun-proof, shade-proof area, as well as waterproof. The number three secret to a small landscape design is privacy. In fact, privacy is probably the reason you are even clicking in and trying to figure out some ideas for your small backyard space. You need privacy between you and the neighbor behind you, or possibly the neighbor to your side. Now, there's lots of different ways that we can do privacy. This gets really creative. You can do a trellis with an arbor on top of it. And here's some examples of that. You can do standalone privacy screens. And here's some examples of some of those. And here's one that even features a privacy screen on the back of a pergola, a lean-to style pergola or shed. And look at the way we did this. We put a louvered light behind to add an additional element of kind of an art feature out of the privacy screen. Also with privacy, you want to think about hedges, plants, lots of different ways to create that privacy. Bamboo in a small area is a great privacy feature. It's a straight vertical privacy screen, but it does require you to be very careful with the way you prepare to plant that. Or you want to do a raised concrete planter like you see here. So this was very immature planting in this picture, but that will fill in and you won't even be able to see the neighbor behind that. The number 4 secret to creating a beautiful landscape in a small space is water features. think about adding a water feature to the space. This could be really the highlight of your outdoor space. So a water feature not only is beautiful to look at, but that little bit of noise distraction, that little bit of white water noise will just kind of drown out some of the sound behind that will really add to the space, add that peaceful environment to your backyard space. So water features come in lots of different shapes, lots of different sizes. You can do one, as you see here, on a seat wall. You can create it in a very small little area. Look at that little water feature to the right that we have there. Got a little bit of splash there, but you can see just how small that is. It's a little trough, and yet you can really create a beautiful water feature in the space. Water features could also be done from boulders, from rocks. As you see here, you can do column water features, as you see here. One of my favorite water features to do is out of a flower pot. You can either put spouts into the flower pot, or you can have spouts coming out of the flower pot. And they create such a beautiful, almost like a Mediterranean style landscape that gives you that sound of moving water in a small space. The number 5 secret to a small landscape design is a fire feature. Now this could be done either a fireplace or a fire pit, or depending on the size of your small space, you could do both. We've done both even in a small area several times. So here's some things to think about. We've talked about that main destination spot or that main focal area, and the fire feature could oftentimes be that feature. You want to put these in a space that are close or in good proximity to the windows so they capture your eye and they pull you outside, because fire features do just that. They will grab your attention and make you just want to go outside and sit around them. So a fire feature could also be on the wall of a structure. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a full structure. It doesn't have to be fully covered. It could be a pergola, as you see here. Or it could be a covered structure in a small space with a fireplace on the edge. A fireplace does a wonderful job of creating that screening effect that we've talked about in number 3 secret, the screening. Fireplaces can act as their own screens. So here's some other examples of fireplaces and fire pits in small backyard spaces that really will do wonders. So a brief little interruption to this video on the 10 secrets to small backyard designs is I want to let you know that you need a good design. Don't try to do this necessarily on your own, and I don't want to scare you there, but you could go wrong quickly. This video is meant to educate you, but I really want you to do it right. So get a designer, get some help. We would be happy to help you, but if it's not us, find a good designer, or at least do it yourself. Put it on paper. It'd be great if you could do it in a 3D world, because if you start doing things and it's wrong, you're going to lose money by ripping it out and redoing it. So the design will help you with that master plan, and then you'll really have a beautiful space for the longevity of that backyard. The next secret for a small landscape design is a bar. Now really, I would so strongly recommend a bar for a small landscape design. But look at how tiny their backyard space in this instance is. So their property backs up to a river, and because of the setbacks from the river, they cannot go any further with their backyard space. So we created a railing from their deck, but really a bar. It was a whole bar along the back side. And I don't know if you can tell, but we created some bar stools that were connected to the bar that you can pivot out to be able to use that space and not necessarily have to have bar stools there that are big and cumbersome. So these are some creative ideas for small backyard spaces, but look at some of these other ideas here. In fact, you can even do a small bar around a post, as you see here. Look at how small this backyard space is. And yet we are able to put a little bar in around the post of the structure here. And this acts as just a wonderful little cocktail table for either standing and hanging out, or you can put some bar stools in as well and have extra seating in a very small confined space, but it'll really pack a lot of punch for your outdoor space. The number 7 secret to a small backyard space is garden spaces. Now you can do these in the smallest possible space. You could do it even in a flower pot. You could do it in a small herb bed on a fence or a vertical structure. You could do it in a raised garden bed as you see here. The trick is getting some way to get some greenery, some way to grow something, herbs, vegetables, or even flowers to just add that color, that fragrance, that vibrance to your patio space. I would strongly recommend a small garden in a small backyard if you can squeeze it into the space. The number 8 secret to designing a small backyard space is built-in seating. As you can see here, this is a small courtyard, but really we maximize the use of the space by adding built-in seats. Now, the reason I say maximize use is look at how we tucked a bench in there all the way in the corner, really on both sides in the corners. Really was unusable space prior, and all of a sudden we created 2 wonderful destinations because of the ability of a built-in seat to tuck in an unusable area prior. Now another cool thing about built-in seating is, for the most part, you can design these to have built-in storage. So they're really a dual use structure. So all these that you're seeing, or the majority of what you're seeing here, is a dual use where you can lift up the seating portion and you can store, pillows, you can store, or whatever you might need, just to kind of keep out of the way in your outdoor space. These work great for a dual use purpose for storage. The number 9 secret to a small landscape design is focal feature landscaping. Now, what do I mean by focal features? Well, here you have a small space, and a garage from the neighbor is taking up part of your courtyard. But look at how we use this garage or this wall to create really a living art piece with this living wall. So we framed it in kind of an interesting way there, and all of a sudden we've created this beautiful focal point that's really enjoyable to the space. Here's some other examples of some living walls, as well as some vines. You can definitely use vines in a similar way. Maybe give them something to climb, and all of a sudden you've created a beautiful living wall just out of jasmine or other vines that are growing up in a small space. The number 10 secret to consider as you're designing your small backyard space is sunken areas. Now this is a really interesting one because you can go down in your earth and retain the area around it, and all of a sudden you kind of create this little sunken hidden oasis. So we did that in this job here. We actually sunk down a fire pit with a seat wall location, and we lowered in an area for an ADU, or a little office, I should say, for this client. So as you see in the backyard space, we did this to kind of give and maximize privacy. Now with this space, we sunk in a fire pit, and that just created a very usable space for the client to kind of maximize some of the slope that they had in the back. So this is another thing to consider. Can you, or do you have some slope in your small backyard that'll allow you to do a little sunken fire pit area? So I hope you guys enjoyed this 10 secrets on landscape design, even in a very small space. I hope one of them resonated with you and that you can use it in your own space. Also guys, would you mind just doing me a favor and commenting which one you appreciated the most? It'll help the community be able to kind of, see the trends that are coming on and see what really are resonating with people like yourself. Also, could you please like and click that bell notification? We would love for you to get the videos as they come in. And also, of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you in the next video very quickly.